Shalom, shalom, and welcome to another episode of God's Little Hummingbird, the podcast where we are going through the Bible from the beginning to the end using the original languages as a guide. Sorry for the hiatus again. This new platform I'm using is not as simple as the one I used to use, so thank you for your patience. Now, I'm going to be again recording this because some of you do, I find, like it on the YouTube, and a lot of you just listen to it on the podcast. We're in 2 Chronicles chapter 1 today, reading from the New King James Version Bible. I do pray, Father Yahweh Elohim, that you would open our eyes, ears, and hearts to your truth and your truth alone. Now, we're going to be reading again from the New King James Version Bible, simply because it's comprehensible. It's written at a 6th grade reading level. It's fairly accurate for the most part, much more accurate than a lot of translations I've found. So that's why we stay in this one. Now Solomon, which is Shlomo in Hebrew, the son of David, was strengthened in his kingdom, and Yahweh his Elohim was with him and exalted him exceedingly. And Solomon spoke to all Israel, to the captains of thousands and hundreds, to the judges, and to every leader in all Israel, the heads of the fathers' houses. Then Solomon and all the assembly with him went to the high place that was at Gibeon, for the tabernacle of meeting with Elohim was there, which Moses the servant of Yahweh had made in the wilderness. Now please remember, at this point, the temple had not yet been established. The temple had not been built. So they had the tabernacle and it was kind of traveling around. So the tabernacle was at Gibeon. But what we're going to find out is that there's a difference here. Let's look. Verse 4. But David had brought up the ark of Elohim from Kirjath Jearim to the place David had prepared for it. So the ark, where was it? In Jerusalem. For he had pitched a tent for it at Jerusalem. See, Jerusalem had been Jebus, and it was the city which David had taken over and captured. And that was the place Yahweh Elohim put his name. In fact, if you look at aerial views of Jerusalem, you will find inscribed in the mountains from aerial views, Yod He Vav He, inscribed around the mountain. Around the mountain, you will find those 4 letters of Jerusalem. It's beautiful. It's amazing. I'm sure you can find it on YouTube or Google it. I don't have the exact video I saw many, many years ago, but it's very neat. So here we find that Solomon, and I wonder if there's some symbolism in this, because Solomon wasn't as faithful to Yahweh as his father David was. So let's look at this. Solomon went to Gibeon, where the tabernacle was, but the ark, which was kind of like the heart of the tabernacle, the heart symbolic of Yahweh, was in Jerusalem. Do you see this picture? So the people were still doing perhaps things that were right in their own eyes and weren't fully submitted to Yahweh. Now, Solomon was anointed. Yahweh exalted him. He met him here. But there's something here, I think, for us to notice, that simply Yahweh has no choice but to use imperfect people because we're all imperfect. Does that make sense? And so we're all he's got. Sadly, I feel so bad for him sometimes. I'm like, Father Yahweh, I'm so sorry. We're all you have. Please help us. We're so foolish and unwise. We just need your wisdom and your counsel and your might and your mercy. Oh, I pray that a lot. So anyway, David, a man after Yahweh's own heart, put the temple or the ark, not at the tabernacle, but right here in Jerusalem. Beautiful. Okay, verse 5. Now the bronze altar that Bezalel, the son of Uri, the son of Hur, had made, he put before the tabernacle of Yahweh. Solomon and the assembly sought him there. So that's where the assembly, the church, the group, went, the body of Israel. And Solomon went up there to the bronze altar before Yahweh, which was at the tabernacle of meeting, and offered 1,000 burnt offerings on it. That's a lot. Was that number exaggerated? I don't know. Some people think it was, some people don't. Anyway, on that night, Elohim appeared to Solomon and said to him, "Ask, what shall I give you?" And Solomon said to Elohim, "You have shown great mercy to David my father, and have made me king in his place. Now, O Yahweh Elohim, let your promise to David my father be established, for you have made me king over a people like the dust of the earth in multitude." Notice the poetic language and nature of Hebrew people, because honestly, Israel was a lot of people, but not that many, right? But he understood the prophetic nature. Like, look, these people are like the dust of the earth right now. There's so many. You've made me king. Verse 10, now give me wisdom and knowledge that I may go out and come in before this people, for who can judge this great people of yours? He's like, I don't know what I'm doing. Help me. All of you have that prayer a lot, I bet. I do. Then Elohim said to Solomon, because this was in your heart, And you have not asked riches or wealth or honor or the life of your enemies, nor have you asked long life. So he didn't ask for selfish ambitions, but have asked wisdom and knowledge for yourself, that you may judge my people over whom I made you king. Wisdom and knowledge are granted to you, and I will give you riches and wealth and honor, such as none of the kings have had who were before you, nor shall any after you have the like. Give Yahweh a little bit, and he's going to outdo you, right? You just give him a little, he's going to give you a lot. He always one-ups us because he is amazing. And that's what he did here. He's like, you were so humble in your askings, and you asked the right thing. I'm going to give you the other stuff as well. And see, Solomon was trustworthy in that. If you're trustworthy, Yahweh gives you what you didn't even ask for, right? You just have to be humble. Seek his desire, his heart. Now, was Solomon faithful to the end of his days? No. So I'm not saying he was the best king ever. But in this moment, his heart was right. Shouldn't that put the fear of God in us, saying that we can be right 1 minute with God and the next minute fall away? Yeah, let's work out our salvation with fear and trembling. So Solomon came to Jerusalem from the high place that was at Gibeon, from before the tabernacle of meeting, and reigned over Israel. And Solomon gathered chariots and horsemen. He had 1,400 chariots and 12,000 horsemen, whom he stationed in the chariot cities and with the king in Jerusalem. Also the king made silver and gold as common in Jerusalem as stones, and he made cedars as abundant as the sycamores which are in the lowlands. So all these riches, which is common for him. He had so much. And Solomon had horses imported from Egypt and Kavah. The king's merchants brought them in Kavah at the current price. They also acquired and imported from Egypt a chariot for 600 shkalim, or shekels of silver, and a horse for 150. So apparently, again, he's like making this common. Thus, through their agents, they exported them to all the kings of the Hittites and to the kings of Syria. So, give Yahweh a little, and he'll give you more than you could ever fathom. Yahweh bless you all. Feel free to reach out to Melissa Schilling Smith on Facebook, God's Little Hummingbird on Instagram if you have questions. There's a YouTube channel, God's Little Hummingbird. It's the one with a lot of videos. I accidentally made a channel years ago that I can't remember what the password was or even the email I used. Oh, yeah, that's what happens when you get busy in life. So the current channel, I stay aware of. Yahweh bless you all. If you have questions, reach out. May Yahweh bless you. Love you.